guys better get your America gear and blow it out tomorrow. Are we ready to blow it out?
Because it's the last show of the week. So
That's right.
Getting ready for 4th of July weekend early.
We're prepping. We're gonna prep for some Americaization tomorrow. Everybody's wearing the red, white, and blue. We're blowing it out. Get ready.
That's exactly right. Let's kick off today's show with some fantastic, fantabulous news. And that is that thanks to Linda McMahon and the Department of Ed really pushing on this whole trans people in sports issue, UPenn is going to formally apologize for allowing Lia Thomas to compete as a woman. And in fact, that's not all. They're going to be stripping Lia Thomas's awards and winnings and rankings and all of that stuff away. So all of the actual girls will be bumped up, including Riley Gaines, who of course tied for 5th place, but now will be tied for 4th place. And everybody else is going to move up. They're going to adopt biology-based definitions for the words male and female, and they are going to actually comply with Title IX and be consistent with Trump's executive order about protecting women's sports. So this is unbelievably fantabulous news.
I mean, let's face it, they caved because cash. He was going to.
Well, exactly.
Right. The Trump administration was like, we're going to cut $175 million of federal funding. And they were like, well, I guess we'll go ahead and do this. Money talks, man. Money talks.
But whatever the reason, we'll take it.
I'll take it. I'll totally take it. I love it. Because this is common sense.
Of course it is. Absolutely right. And Keith Olbermann, who's been just so mean and such a dick to Riley Gaines, and he's just been awful to her. So he trolled her even after this news, and he was all like, so you're so whiny. He was like, wanted to congratulate whiny Gaines on now being able to say she finished tied for 4th, not tied for 5th in the Lia Thomas race. And she was great. She wrote back, thank you. While you're keeping track, make sure to congratulate Emma Wyatt, the right national champ in the 500 freestyle. If you're insinuating 5th in the nation is bad, what do you call a man who ranks 462nd nationally in the men's category?
That's right.
Referring, of course, to Lia.
Yeah. And what have you done, Keith? What have you done?
God, what an asshole that guy is.
What a piece of crap he is.
So both Riley and Linda McMahon, which is who I'm named after today, were on with Laura Ingraham last night to talk about the great news. Here's just a little bit of their conversation.
I feel vindicated. I feel like pigs are flying. I feel like hell has frozen over. So it is a fantastic day, of course, for sanity, for common sense. But I think more broadly for women, for humanity, for the little girl that I'm growing inside of me right now, that I will welcome to the world in just a few weeks. I think of her. I think of her future. That is what Donald Trump and, of course, Secretary McMahon and myself, that is what we are fighting for. So very, very excited about today's news.
I think we've righted a wrong today. And as I said, I certainly hope that this agreement that we have come to with the University of Pennsylvania is going to be a template to show to other universities what needs to happen so that they can get in line and make things right for our women and girls who are going into these sports.
Yeah, pay attention. Pay attention, universities.
That's right.
Quit being jerks. Have some common sense. Oh my God.
Good news.
Have you guys followed our socials? You should be doing that. This is our link tree. Look at our link tree. It's so pink. chicksontheright.com/links. You should be following that.
Just really quickly, because I tried chicksontheright.com/links today and it didn't work. But then I tried chicksonright.com/links and it worked.
Okay, it's Chicks on Right. Don't leave the out. Don't have the the in there. chicksonright.com/links. And then also make sure you're subscribed to this podcast. Please click subscribe. Please do that. And then tell your friends. Also, yesterday, I think we had mentioned that the meet and greet will be April 25th of 2026. Please.
I guess we just didn't fuss about it enough. Like we didn't like go big announcement.
We didn't, because we just kind of figured that everybody, it was going to be happening in the spring, because we were going to do it. What was it, September? And then we had to postpone it because
the original date.
Right. Because Mock had surgery. Please do not, I implore you, do not get like Airbnbs or any of that stuff, because we will not be selling tickets for that until September.
and you don't know if you're going to get a ticket.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they sell out really fast. And so I would hate for people to like fix a place to stay and buy airfare and then not get a ticket to the dang meet and greet. So just don't do that, you guys.
Just wait till September. Wait till you have plenty of time to plan in September. So just wait.
Yeah.
We're going to have a good time now. It's going to be fun, but just wait until September. Okay. And then people are asking where it's going to be. It's going to still be in Fort Worth at the Stockyards.
Yes.
It'll be a fun time will be had by all, but just wait.
Indeed. Okay, just a quick follow-up on an earlier story about that horrible fire that was set on purpose to draw firefighters in to be shot at in Idaho, Coeur d'Alene. We now know the names of the 2 firefighters who died: John Morrison, 52 years old, and Frank Harwood, 42 years old. It's just, I mean, senseless. Exactly. Senseless is the word. And we're starting to hear more about the psycho who actually killed them and then also took his own life. And naturally, people rush to figure out, is it a Trump supporter? Is it, you know what I mean? This is like always the first question.
Always political.
And so people are focusing very, very heavily on the fact that the mother and stepfather of this guy that did the crime were Trump supporters. However, there's also rumors that they had a restraining order against the son because he was such a freaking lunatic. And he was a brony, which is like the people that are
what is a brony?
Super obsessed with My Little Pony.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, but this is not the typical Trump supporter profile.
I'm gonna go with no.
Officer Tatum, our friend Brandon, did a video about this because he was getting sick and tired of all these people glomming onto this photo of the mother and stepfather decked out in front of the White House with MAGA gear. And so here is his rant about that.
I tried to be done with work, but I can't. These crazy lunatic leftists want to push propaganda that somehow the Idaho shooter was connected to MAGA, was connected to Trump. You can't make this up. So they said they didn't found a picture online of his mama and his stepdaddy with a MAGA hat on. Look at the picture.
They look normal.
I heard that they got a restraining order against him and they weren't connected. Now it may come out to be something different. Now, you see 2 MAGA hat wearing people in front of the White House. Now, I don't know what picture they trying to show online of this boy, but here's a picture that you need to see, and you tell me, was he a Trump supporter or not? I need you to advise, was he a Trump supporter or not?
No.
That would be a big, that would be a
so.
no.
The math ain't mathing, but it looks to me like his parents are Trump supporters, and he's rebellious against his parents, just like a leftist. According to the stuff that I read, he was mad because he didn't make the fire department to go kill innocent firefighters. That's leftist stuff. That's beta energy.
Yeah, it is.
That's soy boy energy.
Mm-hmm.
God, he's 100% correct.
Right?
Like, so what? His parents didn't do it.
I know.
His parents weren't the ones. So they're glomming onto the parents because they had hats on in front of the White House. Like, what? Okay. This is what we're doing now?
This is what we're doing.
Wow. Okay. Nice stretch. But look at the kid. And he's right. The kid
he's
definitely not MAGA. Yeah.
He's a brony. Find me a MAGA brony. I just don't think that that's a thing.
I didn't even know what that was until today.
I had to be reminded. Hi, Doggo.
Coda wants to say. Coda was like, bronies? Not okay.
I'm as big as a brony, he says.
My little brony. Yeah, not okay.
Would you like to tell people about how they can push back against child indoctrination in our schools?
With Freedom Project Academy, you can do this. We have a lot of friends that homeschool their kids, you guys. I feel like this is becoming more and more of a thing, the homeschooling thing, because people, they're sick and tired of the indoctrination, kind of like what we're seeing with the bronies. And then also kids are getting dumbed down, you guys. They're failing our kids. Millions of kids can't read now. They can't write. They can't do math at grade level. I remember when I taught years ago at the college level, kids would get into college. They could not write and complete sentences. I'm like, how did these kids get into college? It was astounding to me. And that was years ago. So they are definitely failing our kids. And colleges are dumbing down just to keep enrollment up. We cannot afford to keep doing this. In Freedom Project Academy, they offer classical education for pre-K through high school. They have perfected online learning for 15 years. They offer live, anytime, or homeschool courses for all students between pre-K and high school. They're based on Judeo-Christian values. They're dedicated to mastery of subject matter. The kids read, full books. They write in cursive. They do all the things. They study the full scope of history. And they graduate with knowledge well above their peers. I mean, well above. These kids are really, really smart. So they're celebrating their 15-year anniversary. You can visit freedomforschool.com, save 15% off all courses when you use code CHICKS15, whether you want to supplement or put your kid or your grandkid in there full-time. It's CHICKS15 for 15% off all live, anytime, or homeschool courses. Check it out, you guys.
Check it out. All right, let's talk about the big, beautiful bill that did actually pass by the skin of its teeth, the Senate yesterday. It took JD Vance to do the tie-breaking vote, and there were rumblings, and I guess it's still happening, that today there would be a vote in the House as early as 9 a.m. I don't think that's going to happen because of a couple reasons. I don't think they have the votes, first of all, until some changes are made. And I guess a whole bunch of flights were canceled yesterday, and all kinds of House members were unable to get to DC. And so it was there was I almost included them, and then I was just like, I can't take it. But Nancy Mace, who wants to be governor here in my home state, in South Carolina, she decided, because her flights were canceled, that she was going to do a drive overnight to get there in the morning. And she did this whole series of her running around different rest stops in her pajamas. And so
Why would she do that? Why?
I don't know. She just needs a lot of attention.
Yeah. Okay.
So she had her little pink PJs with all the hearts on them, and she would get out and pump gas in the PJs. And there was like a whole series of videos.
Okay.
So anyway, I just don't think that the vote is going to happen, because there's no way. They have a slimmer margin even in the House than they do in the Senate. And there's a lot of problematic parts of the bill that a lot of Congress people aren't happy about. So I still think that there's going to be a fight about this. And Marjorie Taylor Greene was on with Steve Bannon yesterday after the Senate vote, kind of saying similar stuff. Here is Marjorie.
Is the House going to rubber stamp this? Is it going to be like a 24-hour turnaround, ma'am?
I cannot imagine. No, I can't imagine they have the votes. There's no way that Johnson has the votes in the House for this. We're supposed to be back Wednesday morning to start voting at 9 a.m. I think that is not realistic. I just don't see how that's possible. So I think it's far from over. It is really a dire situation. We're on a time clock that's been really set on us, so we have a lot of pressure. And then also, given the fact that there's 435 members of Congress, and it's hard for us to get to an agreement on anything. So this whole thing is, I don't know what to call it. It's a show. And I'm sorry for saying that. I know we're not supposed to say that on the air, but that's truly what it is.
Well, I mean, I just hope that at this point she's read it, because remember when you know what I mean, that they've all read it, that everybody has done their job and they've read it and they understand what's in it and they understand what they're voting on. That's what at least that's the hope that I have at this point.
I just don't know how they're going to do this.
They're going back and forth, like the illegal stuff. I see people saying, I heard that, illegals are still getting Medicaid, or they're not getting Medicaid, or like this is in or this is out. And it's like all this stuff is going back and forth. I mean, I feel like a lot of the stuff that's being cut, like when it comes to Medicaid, that's one of the whole points of this, is that they want to get illegals and people who are able-bodied off of Medicaid.
Yes.
That's part. Like, so when you hear Chuck Schumer going, oh my God, all these millions of people are going to be kicked off of Medicaid. Yeah. The people who need to be kicked off of Medicaid are
exactly
Medicaid. So quit your whining, you pay for them, Chuck.
I mean, we could have filled the entire show with all of the stupid selfie videos of Democrats whining about how horrible this is and crying about it. But just to make sure that we don't do that, we're only going to share a couple.
Right. I mean, there's increased penalties now on illegals. I mean, there's some good stuff in this bill.
There's definitely good stuff.
There's some good stuff. I mean, the deficit. I mean, our debt goes up.
Only if we don't grow. And I think, like Scott Bessent, we're going to grow like gangbusters. And so I don't worry about that part as much as I ordinarily would.
Right.
But and the fact that Democrats are trying to say that they're worried about that after the freaking Inflation Reduction Act,
and
give me a break.
And after they let 10 to 20 million illegals into this country,
illegally, and suck all of our resources dry,
and they put illegals up in 5-star hotels on our bill. You don't get to say you're concerned about like our money now. You can suck a bowl, man. Like you don't get to do that. You don't.
Elizabeth Warren almost got teary-eyed when she was talking about just the monstrosity that was this bill. Here's a little bit of her rant.
Now, at the end of the vote, when the Republicans won, they cheered. They cheered over taking away health care from around 17 million people. They cheered over giving huge tax breaks to a handful of billionaires. They cheered over running up the national debt by another $3.5 trillion. You know, this bill, it's bad. It's bad economically. It's bad morally.
Oh, yeah. Talk to us about morals. Pocahontas. Leah, like, preach to me about morality. Keep doing that. And listen, when you guys go to the doctor, because I have health issues. I have stuff that I got to pay for every month that costs me a lot of freaking money. All right.
Am I frozen? Is it her? What's happening?
Are we both frozen? Are we good?
Okay. Now we're good. Was it me?
I don't know. You were frozen a little bit, but I don't know if it was me or you. But if I say if I have a migraine, I go to the emergency room, I got to pay money for that. Right. And I think to myself, if I were just illegal, I wouldn't have to pay for this. How is that fair?
It's not at all fair. And you're not just paying for yourself, you're paying for them.
That's the thing. Somebody explain to me how that's fair. When you break into somebody's house and then that person in the house has to pay for your health care. I'm sorry. I have to pay for my own health care. I got to pay for my family's health care. Why is it that I have to pay for your health care when you broke into my house? I shouldn't have to pay for that. Why is that?
Right.
And she's crying about it? Quit your crying,
She's trying
lady.
to cry. She's trying to cry. Right.
It's all theater kids, man.
Well, and then this wasn't theater. This was just like one of those cringe moments where you're like, oh my God, what's happening? A lot of people right now are super angry at Lisa Murkowski. There's always a reason to be mad at her, no matter what side of the aisle you're on.
Yeah,
really. And so she voted in favor of the big, beautiful bill, but she basically did it because she was guaranteed some perk for Alaskan constituents. That's the only reason. She was basically bribed into voting for it. And so Rand Paul called her out, and then a reporter caught up with her in the hallway to tell her what Rand Paul said about her. And she was so mad that she just stared at the reporter for like 10 straight seconds until he became uncomfortable enough that he was like, I didn't say it. Okay. I'm just telling you what he said and looking for your reaction. Here's just a little bit of what that looked like.
Senator Paul said that that your vote was a bailout for Alaska at the expense of the rest of the country.
Oh my God.
That's what Senator Paul said.
Senator, we've got the...
I didn't say it, ma'am. I'm just asking for your response.
Oh my God.
My response is I have an obligation to the people of the state of Alaska.
Okay.
And then she went on and on and on and on and on about that. But like, that was the weirdest moment where she was like
that was like such a mom moment when you're here and you're just like, go to your room.
Right.
Go directly to your room.
That's my gosh.
She's one of the most annoying people
Yeah.
in office, you know?
She is.
There's like
awful.
3 of them that they're constantly like obstructionists, and I don't like them.
All right, you ready to read a Trump tweet?
can't
What
wait.
he said after the bill passed the Senate? Here it is.
Oh my God. Almost all of our great Republicans in the United States Senate have passed our one big, beautiful bill. It is no longer a House bill or a Senate bill. It is everyone's bill. There is so much to be proud of, and everyone got a major policy win. But the biggest winner of them all will be the American people, who will have permanently lower taxes, higher wages, and take-home pay, secure borders, and a stronger and more powerful military. Additionally, Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security benefits are not being cut, but are being strengthened and protected from the radical and destructive Democrats by eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse from those programs. We can have all of this right now, but only if the House GOP unites, ignores its occasional grandstanders, you know who you are, and does the right thing, which is sending this bill to my desk. We are on schedule. Let's keep it going and be done before you and your family go on a July 4th vacation. The American people need and deserve it. They sent us here to get it done. Our country is going to explode with massive growth, even more than it already has since I was reelected. Between the growth, this bill, our tariffs, and more, the one big beautiful bill sets the United States down a fiscal path by greatly reducing our federal deficit and setting us on course for enormous prosperity in the new and wonderful golden age of America. To my GOP friends in the House, stay united, have fun, and vote yay. God bless you all. I love it. I think this is great.
It's so positive and optimistic and like just go team.
Yeah, I mean,
so we'll see what happens today.
There are a lot of people that, what do they call them? The what are the panicans and all the people that are the panicans and the people who just hate this, and libertarians basically, who are, and the Elonists right now, who are just really irritated about this, who just want to burn everything down. And I just don't think that's the right way to handle this. I just don't. I think that the way that
it would be great if there were a more conservative way that would pass, but there isn't.
Exactly.
And that is what the Masseys and Elons just cannot understand.
I agree. I totally agree. I think it would just be more detrimental to all of us in the long run if you know, because that's the thing. They're not saying what can we do other than let's burn it all down.
Right. That's the problem. They never have, they always have the complaints and they never have the solutions.
And like, not to be mean to Elon, because he's done a lot of great things, but it's easy for him to say, let's burn it all down when you're a freaking billionaire.
Right.
You know, I mean, the rest of us are out here paying the bills.
Yeah. And not wanting our taxes to go up, which they would if this does not get passed.
Right.
So.
We actually have to worry about that stuff, Elon. So yeah.
I would love to be, I mean, I do feel very optimistic about the country's growth. And that means really, really good things, as we've seen from the stock market, which means you should be thinking about how to optimize what's going on in the market. And our friend Zach can help you do that.
Yep, that's true. If your retirement portfolio was a sports team, how well did it play during the first half of 2025? You should be looking at it that way. And is your financial advisor making any halftime adjustments? Like, I had one before Zach that I never talked to. He was not communicative at all, which is why that was literally the big reason that I switched to Zach, because he's super communicative. He kind of coaches our retirement portfolio like a coach coaches athletes. And I love that, because he actually was an athlete in college. I love that. But he communicates with us. I love how he's hands-on. He is communicative. His staff is awesome. He's unapologetically conservative. He wants your retirement to be the absolute best that it can be, kind of like a great coach does with an athlete. And I love that. And he's having a free halftime webinar this Thursday. Is it this Thursday? Is it? No, not this. No, is it this Thursday? I think it's
July
this.
24th.
Is it? No, I'm sorry. It's July 24th. It's July 24th at 3:30 Pacific. You can register for the halftime webinar free. Thank you for chiming in, Mark. It's just like this voice from afar. You can register for the halftime webinar free at knowyourriskpodcast.com. It's not a rah-rah speech. It's just like straight up X's and O's. All sorts of discussion about like global unrest and perspective of 2025, and then how they're going to look after your portfolio. So it's knowyourriskpodcast.com. And now there's
Trend
a
Financial
disclaimer.
LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. The opinions expressed in this program are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or on any specific security. Any references to performance of securities are thought to be materially accurate, and actual performance may differ. Investments involve risk and are not guaranteed. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Track 24308.
Sorry, I had the date wrong.
That's okay. That's right.
Thanks for correcting me.
So speaking of Elon, they're fighting again, you guys. Oh,
Well, I mean, I think
it.
it's more Elon's fighting. I think it's him. It's not so much. I think
No, it's Trump.
but I think
It's
Elon,
definitely Trump.
But I think Elon picks the fights. You see what I'm saying? I
Well,
think Trump
he
would
just
be
makes it
moving
very,
forward.
very clear about his hatred for this bill. I mean, he's not like calling out Trump specifically, although it is Trump's baby, of course,
Right,
but he
right.
is saying this bill sucks and I'm going to like make sure I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure it fails, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
The problem is that the way that Trump fights back is to basically threaten to, take away his businesses and like deport him, which is not helpful, I don't think. And so he was asked, he visited Alligator Alcatraz, which of course we're going to get into in a little bit, and was asked before he left about Elon's comments about the bill and what he planned to do about that. Was he going to get rid of the EV subsidies, et cetera, et cetera? And here is a little bit of what Trump said. It's hard to hear, but I think
I don't know. I think we'll have to take a look. We might have to put Doge on Elon. You know what Doge is? Doge is the monster that might have to go back and eat Elon. Wouldn't that be terrible? He gets a lot of subsidies, Peter. But Elon's very upset that the EV mandate is going to be terminated. And you know what? When you look at it, not everybody wants an electric car. I don't want an electric car. I want to have maybe gasoline, maybe electric, maybe a hybrid, maybe someday a hydrogen. If you have a hydrogen car, it has one problem. It blows up, So I'm going to give that one to Peter. I'm going to let Peter test it out. The hydrogen cars, and when they blow up, it's serious. They find you 5 blocks away. It's that bad.
So I don't know if you could see that at the end of that or during that little diatribe, he basically said we might have to put Doge on Elon. Doge is the monster that might have to go back and eat Elon. He continues to say that Elon is mad about the subsidies maybe being taken away. Elon has always wanted the subsidies to be taken away. So I don't know why they keep going back and forth on that. But Elon wrote, so tempting to escalate this. So tempting. But I will refrain for now.
So many alphas, man. There's a lot of alphas walking around swinging their junk. You know what I mean? This is what's happening. We've got a lot of alphas on our side. We do. Ron DeSantis is one of them. This is why, I'm not saying I would never make a comparison between Elon and Ron DeSantis because I think they're two totally very different dudes. But I think that the dynamics between like all of these guys are very weird because they're all so alpha. We have so many alphas on our side, you guys, which is what
there's just like these are just everywhere.
You can't,
know what I mean? The balls are all swinging around.
I have 3 male dogs. Okay. It's like a constant fight for who's going to be the alpha. That's what they do. And there can only be one at any given time. There can only be one. Sometimes it shifts day to day. You're like, okay, that one's going to win today. But for the most part, there can only be one. Trump is the alpha right now. He's going to be the alpha, like the head mega alpha.
Yep.
And that's just the way it's going to be. And he's just not going to have it any other way. And I don't, Elon, there's a part of me that's just like, dude, he did allow you in. It is a little, it's my personal opinion. You can totally disagree with me, and that's fine. We can all agree to disagree, but I think it's a little disrespectful. I do. I know it's people be like, oh, Daisy, you're in a cult, like you're in the MAGA cult. And it's like, just because he disagrees, that's fine. You can disagree. But the things that he said about him, once he said those things on Twitter or X or whatever, I was like, all right, you crossed the line, dude. Like now, like that's just not okay. Because if I were Trump, I would be pissed too. And I just, at this point, I just think that he was allowed into a place where not a lot of people are allowed. He was given access to things where you should be grateful for that access. Did he do a lot of things for the American people? Absolutely. And I'm grateful for that. He exposed waste, fraud, and abuse. Very, very grateful to that. But at this point, like, maybe you guys should handle the stuff behind closed doors.
Oh God, I wish they would. I so wish they would.
Just shut up, dude. Like, shut up. You're not helping.
I get uncomfortable with this fight in the same way that our BFF Scott Jennings. Thank you. Also gets super uncomfortable because Abby asked him about this whole fight last night, and here you could just see that he's in just total cringe mode. So here's Scott.
Well, he's never been known, the president, to shy away from debating someone who's publicly taking him on. So I'm not surprised to see him jousting with Elon. I still consider them both to be important. I think the dividing line in politics right now for me is who's trying to preserve Western civilization and who's not. And I still think Trump and Elon are on the same side of that line. I hope someday they get it back together.
Scott, you look very uncomfortable.
I love them both, as you know. I love them both, and I don't like it when they fight. I've never liked it when they fight. I don't like it when my friends are fighting.
Mom and dad are fighting.
They're fighting. I don't like it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna hide in the garage.
Trump says.
I totally agree with them because I like them. I like them both for different reasons too.
Yep.
I just think that, some of the things that Elon said, I'm like, below the belt, man. Not cool. I mean,
both of them have gone below the belt.
Right,
Trump saying that he could get deported. I mean,
yeah, but he didn't call him a pedophile, Mock.
Well, that's true. That is true.
Come on. Like that was like,
that was bad.
Way crossing the line. I mean, friends don't do that to other friends. You just don't do that. That was too much.
It was. And that is what Elon ended up feeling like he had to apologize for, which I was glad about.
I hope so.
But yeah, it's just an icky fight, and I hope it ends soon. In that same panel, Bakari Sellers was trying to make an issue out of the fact that it's ridiculous that this bill is even called the One Big Beautiful Bill. And so this is what he said. And by the way, Tammy, I don't need to sit out of anything. I don't know what that means, but fuck off. Like, what the hell? I'm not sitting out of anything. Anyway, here is Bakari.
I actually, though, am taking Elon in this battle because I want to defeat the big. I refuse to be a grown man and call a piece of legislation a big, beautiful anything. This reconciliation bill, I want.
Oh, you're worried about bill? You called it the Inflation Reduction Act, and that was a bunch of crap.
Well, I think that's a better name than big,
I mean, it wasn't.
At least it had a goal or objective. I mean, Donald Trump literally has you all on a leash talking about big, beautiful.
Oh my God!
We're adults, and that is how we characterize things with alliteration.
Well, it is big, it is beautiful, and it is a bill.
I mean, it does meet all the criteria.
He's mad about that. He's like, I'm a grown man. I won't call it a big, beautiful bill because I'm somehow above that. And like, this is, again, he was like totally okay with like dudes with bolt-ons being on the White House lawn.
Right.
That somehow
decide to get like so bent out of shape about.
It's like,
I'm a cult thing.
I'm a grown ass man. Okay.
Okay.
may want to take all the seats on this one. Okay.
Scott Bessent was asked also about Elon because, of course, there's all the rumors of them tangling in the White House back, way back when. And I loved the way that he addressed this because he gave Elon the props that Elon is totally due. But he did it in a way that said, you can stay in your lane. Elon, it was perfect. Here is Scott.
Musk says this. It's obvious with this insane spending bill, increases the debt ceiling by $5 trillion. We live in a one-party country, the Porky Pig Party. Time for a new political party that actually cares about the people. And he's probably going to start one if this passes. What's your reaction? You guys famously tangled in the White House.
I admire Elon's leadership on rockets. I will take care of the finances.
So do you feel as though he says the $5 trillion added to the deficit? You don't agree?
I don't agree at all. Let me tell you why. Because this bill will set off growth like we've never seen before. The CBO projections only project 1.8% per year growth, which is substantially below what we saw in President Trump's first term. And I think we are going to see big acceleration here. And once you see the growth trajectory change to an upward bias, the bill more than pays for itself. We could be in surplus.
Yeah, it's kind of like they're seeing a lot of money coming in from the tariffs.
Yeah.
And I think even CNN the other day had to admit they didn't have to, but they did. There was some chick on CNN that was like, okay, we're seeing all this money come in. Like people were wondering, where is it coming from? It's coming from the tariffs. And so there is more money coming in. We're starting to see a surplus, and hopefully that will, it's kind of like what you say. You're hoping that there's going to be growth.
Right.
And it will outweigh, that whole debt thing, which I mean, I see what you're saying. I do. It's just, I think people are just so used to them spend. But if they get more money, they're going to spend it. Let's hope they don't do that. And we got to have a little bit of faith in what they're doing in the process. Let them cook. It's like I always say, let them cook. Because I feel like Trump has America's best interest in mind.
Totally.
I really
no question
do
about that.
Yeah, I do. It's one of he's like literally the first in my lifetime that does, maybe Reagan did a little bit, but I honestly, in my lifetime, I think he literally is the first.
And I mean, to Scott Jennings's point, I think Elon also has America's best interests at heart, but he has no way, just like Rand Paul, just like Massey, they all are well-intentioned, but they don't have a way of working with the current configuration of Congress to actually move anything forward that is going to pass. So we have to take the one scoop of ice cream, even though we wanted 2 scoops.
And then like have that one scoop and then build on it. Try to take that one scoop, eat a little bit of the one scoop, and then try to build on the scoops, which they're not. You got to work with what you got. You do. It's like you just have to figure out a way to work with it. And I don't think they're like, burn it all down. Believe me, I get it. There are days where I've wanted to do that, but I don't think that that's constructive. We've got to be a little more constructive. I feel like that is how I felt when I was 15. And, that's maybe not the best way to do it. I'm an adult now, and we have to figure out how adults handle things. And this is how adults handle things.
I do think that Elon, he doesn't like fighting with Trump either. And so he actually gave Trump some credit in a follow-up tweet, which we will show you in just a second. It has to do with foreign policy. But speaking of foreign policy, did you know that you can get better educated about that?
You can. Hillsdale. You guys, they have just over 40 free online courses. Okay. They have the foreign policy course, which is really awesome right now. I think I would definitely recommend that you take the American foreign policy course. I've done the Constitution course. I want to do the American foreign policy course. I think that's going to be like next on the agenda, but foreign policy is one of those untouchable topics that should be like, you should learn it like in bite-sized, reels, you can kind of do, and they do that. They give you like different chunks that you can go through. I think how many different, let's see, I think there's 9 lectures on this. They teach you like the principles that guided the foreign policy of American founders, the importance of the Monroe Doctrine, progressive understanding of foreign policy from the Spanish-American War through World War I, the formulation of America's Cold War foreign policy, and the growth of America's military and intelligence. So all sorts of stuff that you can check out, plus tons of other free courses. I encourage you to do this. Like education, knowledge is power. And if you guys have access to free courses like this, why wouldn't you want to take advantage of that? Hillsdale is the best. They have fantastic courses. You can go to hillsdale.edu/chicks, enroll in this course, enroll in a bunch of other courses. There's no cost, you guys, to get started. That's hillsdale.edu/chicks. Do it.
Okay, so Trump tweeted this note about, well, you can read Trump's tweet, actually.
Okay, hold on. I've got something on my screen that's blocking me. Okay, there we go. My representatives had a long and productive meeting with the Israelis today on Gaza. Israel has agreed to the necessary conditions to finalize the 60-day ceasefire, during which time we will work with all parties to end the war. The Qataris and Egyptians, who have worked very hard to help bring peace, will deliver this final proposal. I hope, for the good of the Middle East, that Hamas takes this deal, because it will not get better. It will only get worse. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
And see, look at Elon giving him credit. He said, credit where credit is due. Donald Trump has successfully resolved several serious conflicts around the world.
He has. See, that's good. Look at him giving him credit
Yeah.
where it is. He should be giving him credit where credit is due. No
I
other
like
president has done this.
And I feel like that was, a little bit of an olive branch.
He's like, I really
know
don't-
you're mad at me about this, but
I
look,
really don't
think
think
this
you're a
is great."
pedophile. Really don't think you're a pedophile. I was kidding. I was kidding. Yeah.
Unrelated to Elon, but also related to Donald Trump, is that he has just scored another major victory in the courts, specifically with his lawsuit against CBS and 60 Minutes. So within the breaking news is that CBS is going to pay him $16 million. And then that just gets added to the fact that within the past several months, he's been paid $16 million by ABC, $25 million by Meta. So it's over $55 million. That's all going to go towards his presidential library. So he's racking up some big bucks by suing people who do the wrong thing.
God, I wish somebody would say some bad stuff about us that we could sue. I could use some of that right about now.
I feel like we're not important enough to
I know,
be
right?
able to sue that hard.
That's true, right?
All right, let's talk about what's the big news of the day, which of course is Alligator Alcatraz. Benny Johnson was one of the people in Florida who decided to go to the opening that Trump was attending, and he gave a little bit of a tour of the outside of the facility, but also the inside. Here's Benny.
Welcome to Alligator Alcatraz. The entrance here is a 30-foot tall wall. None of this was here 5 days ago. It's got razor wire on the top, just unbelievably impressive what the state of Florida has done here. Over my shoulder is the actual facility. As you can see, we'll be entering soon. This is the entry gate for Alligator Alcatraz. Got mosquitoes everywhere. And we saw at least 30 alligators on our way in driving. It is in the middle of truly nowhere. It took us an hour 4-hour drive to get here today. It's crazy. Look at that. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean,
I don't see
it's pretty nice.
I know. I mean, it's clean. The floors are nice. I mean, it's nicer than
air conditioned.
It's nicer than my first apartment, and people are freaking out about this.
Oh my God, they are freaking out. This looks like a military barracks, essentially.
Right? Because they're like, oh my God, cages. So, like,
I know.
So, I don't. People are honestly, it really is. It's nicer than my first apartment. If you guys saw my first apartment, it was gross. I had to literally pour bleach all over that place.
It's super nice, actually. And the fact that DeSantis was able to pull this off in days, literal days. He did it, in days. Because last week, that thing was not there. You know what I mean? It's just like he did the Sanibel Causeway after that horrible hurricane. FEMA was like, oh, this is going to be an 8-month project. And he had it back open in 15 days. That is the leadership of Governor DeSantis.
And it's air conditioned. It's air conditioned. The thing that bothers me is that liberals are so mad about this. These are criminals. Look at this. They're getting nice bunks in this air conditioned place. There are places to go to the bathroom. They're getting 3 squares. It's like, they're just pissed because they're not staying in the 5-star hotels in New York City anymore that we're paying for and getting remember we would talk about on the show, the 3 square meals a day that they got, they were like $20 a piece. This is what they want for illegals when veterans are starving and they don't have health care. The priorities of these people, it's so screwed up. And I can't believe we're even talking about how this is mean. If you if you break the law, and you go to a place like this. And I don't what. And this is not so terrible.
The bleeding hearts I'm seeing over well, first of all, people calling it a concentration camp, which we'll get to. It's so absurd. There's that. But then there's also the people going, I can't believe, what are they going to do if there's a hurricane? They're just going to let these people die.
Oh my God.
They're upset about the facilities. And yet, where were all these people when the conditions for detainees looked like this in September of 2023 in Arizona? They are outside. Okay. They are outside in 100+ degree heat.
No air conditioning.
On
none there.
Rocks. They don't have bunk beds out there.
Nope.
So you don't see any of those people complaining that this was all fine when it was Biden letting in thousands and thousands and
Right.
millions of people. And these were the conditions. Liberals were silent as mice during that.
And they were silent when they were
Makes me
coming
so
in. If you
mad.
remember, Fox was the only one reporting when they were on the border of Texas coming in. There was like a gajillion of these people coming in. Disgusting. Everything was trashed. I mean, everything was just gross. And nobody was, people were just ignoring the fact that this was even happening for years.
Yep.
Remember Good Hair Malusian? He was
Yeah,
the only
that was
one,
his tweet.
he was the only one talking about it. The only one. So they can suck it. Again, they can suck it.
Oh my God. And we'll have a little bit later, we'll have one of the, like a TikTok from one of these psychopaths who is calling it a concentration camp. Joy Reid is another one calling it a concentration camp.
Get over yourself.
It's such an absurd comparison that I can believe that they're doing it, but it's just, it crosses so many, it jumps so many sharks to call it that. But anyway, well, we are going to show you some of that. We're going to show you a little bit more of DeSantis and Trump and Kristi Noem going through the facility and answering reporters' questions. But before we do that, we want to make sure that we remind you to protect your personal information.
Well, speaking of illegals, just recently, there was a massive identity theft that took place at a place called Glen Valley Foods in Omaha. Over 100 Americans are now facing financial, legal, and emotional turmoil after illegals stole Social Security numbers to get jobs, wages, and all sorts of benefits. So that's just one example of people that are out there on the internet trying to scam you or steal your identity, and it happens more often than you think. When I signed up for Aura, I had 4 instances of people trying to scam me and get my information. And I thought everything was locked down. I mean, I am super careful about that kind of stuff, but nope, there were 4 instances. And then Aura was like, I got you, Daisy. And they helped me quickly. They got everything completely like taken care of like that. And so you need to protect yourself with Aura if you haven't done that already. Defend yourself against stolen identity, detect and stop fraud before it disrupts your life. Before is the key part here. They will protect you from all sorts of financial damage like identity theft, like what happened at Glen Valley Foods. So you can sign up at aura.com/chicks. Get Aura for $12 a month after the 2-week trial. And those 2 weeks, you're going to have robust defense against identity fraud, much more. Protect yourself. That's aura.com/chicks.
I love them as a sponsor.
God, I do too. I love them too. Love them as a sponsor.
All right. So DeSantis was there to greet Trump and Kristi Noem, and they were there to take a tour of the facility and show reporters around. And at the beginning of their remarks outside the facility, DeSantis was telling reporters that he has no issue at all enlisting help from the National Guard to make sure that these detainees get processed quickly. And here he is talking about that.
Up our National Guard and other folks in Florida to be deputized to be immigration judges. We're working with the Department of Justice for the approvals. I'm sure Pam will approve. But then I'll have a National Guard judge advocate here. Someone has a notice to appear. Biden would tell them to come back in 3 years and appear. Now you'll be able to appear in like a day or two. So they're not going to be detained, hopefully, for all that long. We'll have people here in this facility that can make, it's a bureaucracy. The president's got to deal with the bureaucracy. Now that Supreme Court ruling was good because that's going to allow him to be able to exercise Article 2 the way founders intended. But you still have bureaucracy. So we want to cut through that so that we have an efficient operation between Florida and DHS to get the removal of these illegals done.
God. I look at him and I'm like, who are we going to have run in 2028?
I know. I'm already dreading the primaries. Like, you have no idea.
Because it's like we've got Marco, Vance, and him that are just so good. 3 of them are like out of this world, fantastic.
Out of this world. Yes.
I don't even know who's going to be the mega alpha that steps up, right? Because
I'm dreading it. I'm so dreading it.
I don't even know who to put in the top spot. I don't know who to do it. It's so tough for me to figure that out. That's how good our bench is. That's how good it is. And they on the other side suck.
And you know that out of those 3, can you imagine any one of them being a second or a VP to the other? Vance isn't going to, because he's been like, I've done this already. Would Marco be a VP to Vance? You know what I mean? Like with DeSantis, there's no way.
This
There's no way.
This is why I'm struggling, Mock. This is why I'm struggling. Because it's like, can they all just co-president? Can we just have like 3 guys co-president and then
That
just
would
have
be amazing.
This is the thing. They're all so good.
Yeah, they really are. It's a great problem to have, I guess, but
is.
I am also sort of dreading it. I will not deny
I
it.
know. It's going to be crazy, isn't it?
So Kristi Noem also was there. She was asked by a reporter, it may have even been Benny, about that whole CNN story about the app that locates ICE officers all over so that people can go and attack them, essentially. And she was like hopping mad about it. And she is having the DOJ look into whether that's a prosecutable thing. Here is Kristi on that.
Secretary, CNN yesterday pushed an app that lets you track where ICE agents are. Tom Homan was saying that perhaps CNN should be prosecuted for that. That's obstruction of law enforcement. Your response?
Yeah, we're working with the Department of Justice to see if we can prosecute them for that, because what they're doing is actively encouraging people to avoid law enforcement activities, operations, and we're going to actually go after them and prosecute them with the partnership of PAM if we can, because what they're doing, we believe, is illegal.
Okay.
Go. If it's illegal. I mean, I actually don't know I don't know the legality of it, but if it is illegal, then send that guy to jail.
Yep, totally.
I'm fine with it. Trump he was hilarious all throughout the day, actually, but this moment when he was just talking about, they were finally in the facility and they were walking around, and he made a joke about how Biden wanted him in there. And then he said under his breath, it's very hard to hear, but just listen for it. He said, that son of a bitch. So here is that moment.
People should note that this is air-conditioned facility, so if any of the news claims are keeping them out in the hot, humid South Florida, that is wrong. It's probably 62 degrees here, to be honest.
Hey, Biden wanted me in here, okay? He wanted me. It didn't work out that way, but he wanted me in here, that son of a bitch.
Did he say it's 62 degrees in there?
I didn't hear that part, but it's definitely air conditioned.
He said it's 62 degrees. Y'all, it's 77 in my house.
How are you surviving?
Well, we have to. It's like, because it's so hot here in Texas, I can't pay those power bills. I'm glad to know that the criminals get 62 degree air conditioning. Oh, it's so tough. Let me play a violin for you. 62 degrees.
Well, somebody said that he corrected it to 72, which makes a lot more sense.
Still, it's 77 in my house because I'm not paying that bill. 72. And they're bitching? Are you kidding? Come on.
This is a concentration camp.
Oh, it's a concentration
camp. Don't you see?
I don't see. I don't.
Trump also had very, very kind things to say about the governor, and he was asked a number of times about their relationship and how it was going. And here is what he said when he was initially asked.
You're now as partners on this effort. How would you describe the relationship, and what future does Governor DeSantis have?
I think it's a 10. Maybe 9-9, because there might be a couple of little wounds. So maybe it's 9. I think we have a 10. We get along great.
Well, the thing about it is, I endorsed him immediately in January 2024. I raised one of his PACs millions and millions of dollars, and obviously we saved him a lot of money in Florida because Florida was a deep red state. He didn't even have to do a rally in Florida, whereas 2016 and 20, this was like ground zero. And so we've been, really happy to do that. And then we've worked very well on this and other issues with Florida. And you can call him at any time, and he wants to be helpful for governors. I mean, I can tell you that. We did Hurricane Helene last year. You didn't hear from the president at the time then. But with President Trump, we know immediately, you just make the phone call.
They're mega alphas. That's the only reason they didn't.
Alpha.
The only reason they didn't get along during the election is the only reason is because they both wanted to win, and they were literally peeing and swinging their junk around. That's the only reason. They're built they're cut from the same cloth.
Totally. Totally. They totally are. And it didn't end there. The love fest didn't end there. Trump, when they were sitting in front of the reporters and taking questions and giving speeches and all of that stuff, he made sure to give extra thanks to DeSantis. Here he is.
Ron, I'd like to thank you personally. You are my friend, and you'll always be my friend. And we may have some skirmishes even in the future. I doubt it, but I will always come back because we just seem to. We have blood that seems to match pretty well. We have a relationship that's been a very strong one for a long period of time, and I appreciate it.
I love it too. What's Laura Loomer going to do with that? Her head's going to explode.
Ooh, yeah, she's not. That's right. I forgot. That is a really great question.
What's she going to do if they become like bros and they become really close and there's a love fest going on here? Like, what is she going to do? Her head's going to explode because she's like, oh my God, Casey didn't have cancer.
Right. And that's not her real name.
Right.
Okay.
And it's like she hates DeSantis so much, but they're totally cut from the same cloth.
Mm-hmm. They absolutely are. One of the reporters was asking about accountability for the last administration, some of the key players like Mayorkas, for example, and whether or not we are finally going to see that guy pay for how awful he was. And I don't feel particularly hopeful that we will. And the reason is because even though he wasn't included in Joe Biden's pardon extravaganza-thon, as you'll hear Trump say, he was taking orders from Biden. And so I don't know that we're going to see any justice. Here's Trump on that subject.
Senator pardon, Mayorkas? Was he not?
I don't believe so.
Well, I take a look at that one because what he did is it's beyond incompetence. Something had to be done. Now, with that being said, he took orders from other people. And he was really doing the orders. And you could say he was very loyal to them because it must have been very hard for him to stand up and sit up and, talk about what he allowed to happen to this country and be serious about it. So he was given orders. If he wasn't given a pardon, I could see looking at that. In fact, why don't you take a look at it, Kristi?
I'm sorry, my dog's barking. I'm going to make them stop barking. Hold on one second.
It's like the witching hour, right? What is it? It's 9 o'clock. This is about when they start. This is like just right about when they're like, it's time for us to make some noise.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm really sorry. Keep going.
I was just saying, this is like the witching hour for your dogs when they just decide we need to let loose.
It's just Bear. It's the new one. It's just Bear. Yeah, he's very, very vocal, you guys. I'm sorry. We're trying to break him of that. I apologize.
Also, Trump was asked about this whole New York City ridiculous Mamdani fellow that is likely to win as mayor. He was asked about what he would do because Mamdani, of course, has threatened not to cooperate with ICE officials. And so here's what Trump said about him.
Mr. President, your beloved New York City may well be led by a communist soon, Zohran Mamdani, who in his nomination speech said he will defy ICE and will not allow ICE to arrest criminal aliens in New York City. Your message to communist Zohran Mamdani.
Well, then we'll have to arrest him. Look, we don't need a communist in this country, but if we have one, I'm going to be watching over him very carefully on behalf of the nation.
So Zohran did not like that at all. Do you want to read his reply?
Yeah. Oh, no. The president of the United States just threatened to have me arrested, stripped of my citizenship, put in a detention camp, and deported. Not because I have broken any law, but because I will refuse to let ICE terrorize our city. That's breaking the law. His statements don't just represent an attack on our democracy. Oh, God, here we go. But an attempt to send a message to every New Yorker who refuses to hide in the shadows. If you speak up, they will come for you. Well, if you're breaking the law, yeah.
Right.
We will not accept this intimidation. That Trump included praise for Eric Adams and his authoritarian threats is unsurprising, but highlights the urgency of bringing an end to this mayor's time in City Hall. At the very moment when MAGA Republicans are attempting to destroy the social safety net, kick millions of New Yorkers off of healthcare, and enrich their billionaire donors at the expense of working families, it is a scandal that Eric Adams echoes this president's division, distraction, and hate. Voters will resoundingly reject it in November. I hope, you know what? Let's see what happens.
I know. There's part of me that's just like,
I'm like,
let us see how this plays out.
Right.
Let's go.
Let's see how much of a shithole this place can become. Let's see.
And who would you think is coming to his defense none other than Bill frickin' de Blasio, another absolute loser of a mayor, who said Donald Trump will have to go through a lot of us first if he wants to arrest Mamdani. We New Yorkers will put a human shield around him if we need to. No one gets to intimidate us.
That tracks. That tracks. What happened to all that money that you got? Remember, he got like tons of money. And, like his wife got all sorts of money. Yeah, this totally tracks. These let's see what happens. See what happens, New York City. Be careful.
Well, and there was a hilarious headline from the New York Post about one of the policy ideas, the agenda items that Zohran has that has to do with that government-funded grocery store. And so apparently he wants to pay for that with money that doesn't actually exist because he read an article wrong. So the details about that, basically there's a paragraph that summarizes it. It says he won the Democratic primary. He's claimed on the campaign trail that he would pull $140 million from city subsidies directed at corporate grocery stores. But that pot of money is actually what the private businesses, part of a program called City Fresh, have invested over a 12-year span. So it's not money that is available to him to pay for a government-run grocery store.
It's like capitalist. It's capitalist money. Is that what I'm seeing? It's like it's capitalist money. I thought, yeah, he doesn't like that. So this, okay. Wow. Okay.
I know. It's ridiculous.
So he's a commie. Who
can't read.
That's way to go, New York City. Way to go. And
I mean, commies often like decide that they're just going to grab money out of thin air that doesn't exist. So it tracks.
Yeah. I saw some woman talking about this yesterday. I think I put a reel up on our Instagram where she was like, you can't fool Gen Z and millennials. This guy's like, this guy is awesome. And we love him. Gen Z and millennials cannot be fooled is what she was basically saying. Like they love this guy. And I'm thinking, you are precisely the people that can be fooled.
Yeah.
Which is why this guy is as popular as he is. It's because you guys are so easily fooled, as evidenced by our education, like that, our educational system. That's you're a walking example of that. Oh,
they're such morons. My God.
Yeah.
But back to the Alligator Alcatraz, Kristi Noem was reiterating to people, especially the press, because she was mad at them. She was like, you're constantly making shit up that isn't true about what our efforts are all about. And the people that are going to be detained at Alligator Alcatraz are like literally the worst of the worst possible criminals. And she described one of them, and it was absolutely gross. Listen to this story.
President Trump is upholding freedom by what he is doing. The freedom to live safely in this country and to do things legally and to have justice. And because those liberals, and I'm calling out you, CNN, I'm calling you out because you lie every single day about what these operations are. We are going after murderers and rapists and traffickers and drug dealers and getting them off the streets and getting them out of this country because Joe Biden let the worst of the worst come in here. The other day I was talking to some marshals that have been partnering with ICE. They said that they had detained a cannibal and put him on a plane to take him home. And while they had him in his seat, he started to eat himself. And they had to get him off and get him medical attention. These are the kind of deranged individuals that are on our streets in America that we're trying to target and get out of our country because they are so deranged they don't belong here.
Yeah. But we're the xenophobes.
I'm fine with him being there.
We're the xenophobes. Okay. Best of the best, you guys. I mean, he could have been like the next great doctor or something.
Right.
Okay.
These are the people that the Democrats want to defend. They are always on the side of the worst of the worst.
Joy Reid should take that guy into her home. Why hasn't
I would love to see it.
Why hasn't Whoopi done that? The guy who eats himself. Why haven't you done that?
Wrapping up this whole tour of Alligator Alcatraz, Stephen Miller had some compliments for Donald Trump, which I think were well-deserved. Here is Stephen.
President Trump came into office on January 20th. The United States had endured the largest wave of illegal immigration in human history. Not just American history, human history. And within just a few days, President Trump, through his strength, leadership, diplomacy, and vision, achieved the most secure border anyone in the world has ever seen. When we recently went overseas to the NATO summit, I had senior staff in foreign governments come up to me and ask me how he achieved the Trump miracle on his border and could that be replicated in their countries. For individuals who don't work in this space, to have 0 successful illegal entries in an entire month should be an impossible achievement. There's a 2,000-mile border with one of the poorest countries in the world, and you have open travel from 150 countries into Central America and South America. There are 2 billion people in the world that would economically benefit from illegally coming to the United States. And through the deployment of the military, through the deployment of novel legal and diplomatic tools, through the building of physical infrastructure, through the empowering of ICE and Border Patrol and the entire federal law enforcement apparatus, President Trump achieved absolute border security. And now, once this legislation is passed, he will be able to make that with those resources permanent. Watching what you've done, sir, has been one of the honors of a lifetime. I'm proud to be able to play any role in it. And what President Trump is going to achieve next with the resources in this bill will make America safer, stronger, freer, more sovereign, and more prosperous than it has ever been before. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. And remember when liberals would say it can't be done. Remember when Biden would say, I can't do this without Congress.
My hands are tied. I can't do anything
tied.
without a law.
Yeah. And he did it.
Really?
He did it like that.
Yeah. It just took a new president, as he likes to say, rightly so. I love the way Stephen Miller does that neck thing. You know what I mean? Like where it's always like, it's like his shirt collar is a little too tight. And so he just does this because there's something about it that looks badass for somebody so wonky as he is. Like it looks like he's ready to fight and he's just loosening up for the fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I wouldn't underestimate that guy. I wouldn't. I mean, I
Oh,
know
he's scrappy.
I was going to say, I know that people think he's nerdy, but I would not underestimate him.
He can scrap. And then Nancy Mace, who I told you I wasn't going to play videos of, and I'm not. She wanted to get in on the Alligator Alcatraz action. So she posted this very menacing photo of herself saying, "Dear DHS, we've got a swamp and a dream. Let's talk. South Carolina's gators are ready, and they're not big on paperwork. If I was governor, we'd be bringing Alligator Alcatraz to South Carolina."
You guys do have gators.
Oh, we got them.
Yeah.
We got them.
You've got some in your backyard. So
we do. Although I haven't seen them since you were here.
Really? You haven't?
They left. Like you left and they left. And I haven't seen them
since.
since.
Me. They totally missed my aura, my presence. That's right.
Okay.
True. All right. Well, maybe that'll happen in South Carolina too, Mark.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
So hide your kids, hide your wives,
Hide 'em.
because now you're going to see an example of the people who are really bent out of shape and going through full-blown psychoses over this detainment facility. This is a guy that he represents a lot of crazy, but he also has all the words. Okay, so just hide your kids, hide your wives. Here is what lefties think of this facility.
Calling it Alligator Alcatraz. Are you fucking kidding me? If you missed it, Trump is headed to a low-cost immigrant detention camp built by Ron DeSantis in the Florida Everglades. According to Triple K Caroline, quote, "The only way out is via a one-way flight and it's surrounded by dangerous wildlife." You cannot be fucking serious. Listen, I know most maggots are 10-watt bulbs and 200-watt sockets, but let me see if I can make this crystal fucking clear for you. A large concentration of folks deemed undesirable by the government put in a camp with no due process. If only there were some historical similarities there. Oh wait, they might as well fucking write "hard work will set you free" above the entrance. And oh yeah, as for the whole low cost and efficiency thing, the expected spending on this is $450 million to intern 1,000 people. Not a great look for the party of fiscal responsibility. So when I tell you soulless, loathsome, maggot pieces of shit to get fucked, this is why. This is the side of history that you're supporting.
He mad.
This is who we're dealing with. You want your daughters to stay away from guys like that, man.
Can we just recognize really quickly that a concentration camp that allows you to first self-deport before actually being detained in it, that also sends you back to your home country
with $1,000.
With $1,000, and
Yeah.
that doesn't kill you, is not actually a concentration camp.
Right. We'll get you came over and broke the law. We'll give you $1,000 to go back willingly on your own to self-deport. We're going to give you another $1,000. Dude, it is nothing like a concentration camp. You twit.
But this is what they're going with. Even the media types like
Of
Joy
course.
Reid, she also used the same terminology. Here she is.
It always goes back to Nazism.
I had to
Always.
forget about him, but Ron DeSantis is still governor of Florida. He took the Comfy Couch hosts on a tour of the concentration camp that he's building in Florida in order to round up brown people, and throw them in a camp.
And it's specifically brown people. Give me a break.
This is what they do, though. They always go to the Nazi stuff. They always go to concentration. This is what they do. This is all they know and all they have. This is what they do. When
It's
in
just
fact,
pathetic.
they're the fascists.
Yep.
And you can't make it up.
Kristi Noem's deputy was on Fox talking about this, and she made sure that the point that Kristi made about the self-deportations got made again for the people in the back. Here she is.
Made such a good point today, and she said no one has to be held there. There doesn't have to be a single arrest, because what those individuals who are in this country illegally can do is they can self-deport now. They can take their $1,000 to exit. We'll give them a free flight home, and they preserve the potential to come back the right legal way. But if not, they will be held at a facility like Guantanamo Bay or like Alligator Alcatraz, and they won't be able to return to this country before they're deported.
Yeah. Well, take
not hard.
take $1,000 in GTFO. Bye. Like, why wouldn't you do that? Like,
I don't know.
You're just a total effing idiot if you don't do that. And if you don't do that and you already broke the law, then you're going to go into like a jail cell. How is this hard?
It's amazing. It's
God,
absolutely amazing.
I want to call these people all the words that I'm trying. Jesus, just want to call them all the words, because that is the stuff of just ignorance. You're an idiot.
Yeah, totally.
And I'm already pissed off that I have to spend $1,000 on these assholes.
Plus their flight, the expense of the flight to get them out of here.
Yeah.
And, I mean, plus the money that it did cost to set up this whole facility.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Right? God. All right, moving on. And apropos of absolutely nothing, except that this clip of Gavin Newsom was going around yesterday where I don't even know what he's talking about. It's probably like, who knows? It could be housing. It could be homeless people. I don't even know, because there's this clip of him going around where people are suggesting, and I think that they're right, that Kamala wrote this for him because it's so much of a word salad that makes no sense that by the end of it, you're just like, what did he just say? So you tell me if you get anything out of this, because I do not.
All of that, we have too much demand chasing too little supply. It's not complicated. This is Econ 101, supply-demand imbalance. I've said it before, I'll repeat it. This issue of housing explains more things in more ways on more days than any other issue to explain the challenges and the plight of so many Californians. So many of the challenges that ail us can be connected back to this issue. Unless we address this issue head on, we'll continue to be vexed by so many of these challenges as it relates to the challenges of the middle class and working folks, the issues of what's happening on our streets, in sidewalks. All of these things are foundationally and fundamentally connected.
What did he just say?
I don't know. It made me think of that video that we played the other day about authenticity and like being authentic in your authenticity and understanding.
He is literally a Kardashian, that guy. Like, what does he say? He's saying nothing. He just talks.
He's saying nothing.
Like, words come out of his pie hole. They mean absolutely nothing. And then all these like liberal white elitist women are like, yeah, here are my panties, Gavin. Here are my panties. Gross.
And he likes to do those, those pregnant pauses, right? Like where he thinks he's really putting a fine point on something.
It's so gross.
He's ridiculous. He's a ridiculous person.
God, he's just so disgusting in every way.
And then this also has nothing to do with anything, but I saw this video and it just made me so sad because this is a young woman. I mean, she can't be in her 30s yet, but she did one of these videos where she's like, come see me, go get my Botox and filler. And she like shows the clinic or whatever that she gets this done at. Her before, like when she's in the car saying, here's my face before getting Botox and filler, is already so full of Botox and filler that the after is like a clown show. Like, I can't believe, maybe this is parody. Like, that's how bad it is. I don't know. But you guys, it just made me sad that this is what people want to look like now. Look at this.
Come with me to get Botox and filler today. This is my face.
What are her eyebrows?
Not too shabby. This is my first vlog, so bear with me. This is my go-to spot, Taylor Wellness Med Spa in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I arrived at roughly 2 p.m. to have my consultation before my procedures, and this was the result.
What? I look like a blow-up doll. I am a blow-up doll.
Why you know that she's probably really pretty underneath all of that fake?
Probably 26.
Yeah.
She's probably 26 years old. And I listen, it's for the dudes out there. Do you want to date a blow-up doll? Because if you do, just date one. Date a blow-up doll. You can buy them. And
they don't talk back.
No, you don't have to really you don't have to take them to dinner. You don't have to do anything. You just actually date a blow-up doll now. So I don't understand.
That was bad. That was really, really bad.
The eyebrows. What were those eyebrows?
Yeah, they were a very odd shape.
Get a freaking Sharpie and put them on.
I think that may be what she did.
Good.
I don't know.
Lord.
It was bad. All right, on to some My Pillow Talks. This is just a picture that I thought was hilarious that someone posted. I guess somebody used an app to make the cast of Friends Asian. And the most hilarious part about it is that Ross looked exactly the same. And so here is the photo.
Oh my God. He does. Oh my God. That's hysterical. He does look exactly the same.
Like there's nothing different about him. That made me laugh so hard, but it totally did.
So great.
Also, it is Dad Joke Wednesday, and we do have a dad joke. And it is also a still photo. I don't even know if the joke is legible, but I'll read it to you. What do you call a sick eagle? Eagle.
Oh my God. It's so
and I don't even know if this story is true, but the fact that there's a headline that says Starbucks customer left horrified after barista writes illegal joke on her cup.
God, I would have loved that. I'm going back to the Starbucks all the time. I got to find this same barista and we're going to be like BFFs. It's hysterical.
I know you guys have seen plenty, and if you haven't, congrats, because I can't escape them. But there's lots and lots and lots of influencers who post videos showing themselves putting on makeup and showing all their products.
Oh my God.
So there's a guy that is now making fun of them, and he does it beautifully.
Get ready with me to go to a makeup event in LA. I'm just going in with the tiniest bit of foundation in the shade IBS. A little bit goes a really long way, you guys. Like, you really don't need that much of this at all. Oh my God, that shade is the perfect match. One thing I'd like to add is this foundation is transfer proof, so you won't find it like going on your clothes or anything like that. Just going in with a little bit of concealer in the shade Creamy Pussycat. I only want the smallest bit of this. And I'm just going in with my L41355LBC666 How Many Licks concealer brush. Just setting my makeup with a little bit of powder. This one's called The Devil's Dandruff. It's one of my favorites. Now using my cream blush in the shade Oops, I'm on my period. The blush is blushing right now. I mean... Now going in with my contour stick in the shade Big Dirty Chopper. Oh my god, I love this song. Alexa, volume up. Don't you want me like I want you, baby? Don't you need me like I need you now? Just going in with a little bit of setting mist. This is called a spritz of jizz.
I
So I'm
cannot.
just going over my brows ever so
God.
slightly. For my gloss, I'm going in with the shade
eyebrows.
Christian Man. I'm super late, you guys. I'm supposed to be on my flight in 10 minutes and we've not even left for the airport. Like, what is happening right now? If you want to see the finished look, then go to party.
Go to party.
I cannot stand all of those influencers.
I know.
I can't stand them. I can't.
And then there's always like they'll grab, whatever the product is, and they'll be like,
and then they'll do like the ASMR with
right.
They'll tap everything. Everything's like,
it's like, here, this is what it sounds like.
I'm putting on makeup now. Shut up. Nobody cares.
And then those same people invariably, particularly the obviously I'm talking about the women influencers, why do they all have that vocal affect that is so grating to hear? There's a woman who's sick of it, and she is calling out the people that talk like that. Here she is.
Or somebody who talks like this naturally, and you think this is like a normal way of speaking, you don't see anything wrong with it, please stay away from me. Stay back, because it's not cute. Nope, it's not. It's actually really obnoxious. And I know you're gonna think this is an exaggeration, but it's not. This is exactly how you guys sound. So, yeah, I don't want anything to do with you.
True. Speaking in cursive. I love that. Nani's Treasure House said she's speaking in cursive. Yes.
I feel like that's mean to cursive, because cursive can be really pretty.
I do love cursive, but she is.
I don't even know what that compares to.
They speak in kind of cursive. It's like it's bad cursive.
Is it cursive or just a horrible font?
Oh God.
You know what I mean?
It's like the Comic Sans font.
Yeah, it's like
it is. They're speaking in cursive Comic Sans. if that was a thing. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. All right. Then there's I know we've played him before, but there's this guy with like the thickest Irish. I think it's Irish. I always get the Irish accents and the Scottish accents confused. I think it's Irish. And so he is Irish or Scottish or whatever he is. And he has a very thick accent. So he is going to give us an example of what it sounds like when he parents or scolds a child. And then somehow, I don't know how he does it, but he employs an American accent to show what American dads sound like when they scold their kids. And it's perfect.
Impression of an American dad shouting at his son. Just quickly, I'm going to show you what an Irish dad would be like for reference. You useless fucking poxy cunts bastard, ya! I'm after going out looking, and I can't find someone as stupid as ya. They always have a bit of indigestion. Okay, and here's the American. Hey, Tanner. Tanner, you want to talk about what happened today at the Little League game? You and Caden got into a bar fight? You can't frickin' do this, Tanner. You're the best goddamn quarterback on the baseball team. Sorry, I raised my voice. You're gonna ruin your chances at getting a scholarship to an Ivy League college. This isn't you, Tanner. You're my son. We are Schlitz Waters. Listen, kiddo, why don't me and you and the rest of the family, Bob, Chuck, Amber, and Todd, let's just decompress, go to Target, and I'll buy you your very first AR-15. Follow me, I'm delicious.
My husband's a little more Irish, I think. So maybe a touch more. Yeah.
Just without the accent.
A little bit. Yeah.
I love that guy. Oh my gosh. And then lastly, we have a Belgian Malinois with these dogs are like,
yes,
they mean business when it comes to working, it comes to being active,
they're just smarter than humans. They're smarter than most of the humans, Yeah.
And they will, if they think their owner needs help, they are there to help, as you will see from this video.
He's like, I got you. I'm your Huckleberry, Dad. I got it.
So helpful.
We're going to get this. We're going to rip up this concrete. We're doing it.
I mean, that was just so
God
helpful.
bless him. God bless that dog.
All right. It is time for some thank yous from yesterday. We have Deanna Hale, who said, mock the Jasmine Crockett clip where she gets schooled in due process for illegals by Kevin Kiley, one of our awesome guys here in California.
I love that. Kevin Kiley.
Kevin Kiley, which we did learn just a few minutes after we played the clip. But Bernadette Howarth also said Kevin Kiley is the guy who took down Jasmine Crockett in the clip from yesterday. He's a freshman congressman from Northern California, and he is awesome. He ran against Newsom in the recall election and went to Congress after that. And okay. Okay, so that's it for there. And then today, Dixie Bama said, do you feel a disturbance in the force at Minnesota airport on my way to Myrtle Beach? So close, Mock. We might just tip South Carolina into the ocean like Guam. Love y'all. Happy 4th from Leanne, parentheses, Dixie. And then over on locals, Jolette sent a tip saying, heard Trump has been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah, I think a congressman put in like a official nomination, but that doesn't really mean anything. Like anybody can nominate anybody.
That would be amazing. That would be
it would be. And it's well deserved.
Yes,
I mean, already it's well deserved.
Uh-huh.
But I just seriously doubt it'll happen because
yeah.
I hope it does, but I just doubt it. All right, now you.
Brian Brumley. I once went to a paranoia clinic. The receptionist told me to be seated and everyone will be out to get me. Please take my American money. Heck yeah. That was awesome, Brian. Robin Dye. Dad Wednesday. Nothing tops a plain pizza.
That is true.
It's true in so many ways. That's
in all the ways.
The Great Gatsby, regarding U.S. growth. I work for the world's largest logistics company. We have been bringing in more money in the U.S. from tariffs than ever in its history. See, this is the insight that we need, right? That people are not reporting. Renee Stillebauer, 100% agree, Daisy, about Elon. Okay, all right. Thank you, Renee. Arnerm, who's going to sit President Trump and Elon Musk down to make them work it out? If Emmanuel can't, perhaps Genghis Khan. Genghis can. And that's my time. Try the veal. Tip your jerks. I love it, Arnerm. BTK, after woke e-Jaguar, the woke Jaguar ad, Euro sales drop 2,000 to 49.
Wow. I don't know why companies keep trying this bullshit.
The
like
wokeness, I know.
Sell your cars like normal people and stop Dylan Mulvaneying everything.
Right. Did Bud Light not teach you anything? Seriously.
Right.
Shannon Pope, what do you call a duck that suddenly bursts into flames? A firequacker. Happy 4th, y'all. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Thank you, Shannon. Jennifer, no. Lily is watching with me again. She is really attentive to Daisy's dogs. I could lend her to you, Daisy. She will have your criminals on track stat. Lily won't let anyone mess with me. Love you. I bet a woman, like a female dog coming in here, would just have all these boys in line like that.
Ooh, maybe you need one.
Oh, God, 4th one. Oh, my God. Please give me strength. Fruit Loop, what do you call a sick eagle? Illegal. Oh Happy 4th of July, y'all. Yep, there it is. T Medium Publishing. That annoying speech is like today's Valley Girl. Samantha Cape. I did kind of like Valley Girl, though. I love that movie. Remember with Nicolas Cage?
I do remember it.
Yep. Samantha Capehart. When I was a private in the Army, do liberals think I lived in nice conditions? My deployment housing was a plywood shed. They are so out of touch. Right, Samantha?
Right? It just is insane how they're behaving right now.
Kim Mack. I once dated an Irishman who lived in Ireland, and his brother Seamus used to tell his daughter, Ciara, you're a mad bitch. And yes, that was tame and a term of endearment. The Irish love to cuss. Yes, they do.
So he is Irish, right? That wasn't Scottish.
Yeah,
that was Irish.
Yeah,
okay.
that was Irish. She said Irish dad at one point.
That's right.
Yeah. Jose Rodriguez. Morning from Texas. What cars do eggs drive? A Volkswagen. Take my egg money. You always have good ones, Jose.
That is a good one.
All right, everybody, we're bringing it in. It's Wednesday, hump day. You guys, we have one more day. Everybody, don't forget, wear your patriotic stuff tomorrow. We're all going to be patriotic tomorrow. We're blowing it out.
We're going to be watching you.
We're going to see you in your homes. You think you can? We're going to see you. You guys have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Hello, beautiful people. This is the Chicks on the Right's Indian correspondent. Thank you for watching or listening. Be very sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date on all of their delicious content. Okay, thank you. Come again.